Nowadays, I believe it's safe to say that most of us have already been touched by the rise of AI, right? There is no doubt that AI is bringing much convenience to almost every part of our lives, like how we work, how we study, even how we relax. And education is no exception. We are seeing more and more examples of AI integrated into teaching and learning, whether it's using AI tutors for extra help or generating ideas for assignments. But there is a catch. In our excitement, we tend to exaggerate what AI can really do, and as students start relying on it more and more, we have to ask, what are we overlooking? What are the real costs? So here comes today's topic. Is AI really the future of education? The 5 concerns we cannot ignore. And we will discuss it based on Neil Selwyn's article, The Future of AI in Education, some cautionary notes. Instead of imagining some sci-fi future, the study focuses on the real and the present influences and controversies of AI tools that are already here. So Neil proposes we should pay attention to 5 key issues that are to aware of the AI hype, to recognize the limits of AI, to understand how AI can amplify social bias, to uncover the hidden ideologies of AI system, and to acknowledge the environmental costs of AI. In this video, we are going to break each one down with examples and explanations. So let's dive in. Generally speaking, we are constantly told that AI will revolutionize education. That is a game changer. But before we get swept up in the excitement, Neil points out the first and the biggest problem, the AI hype. The promise of AI isn't new. This circle of intense promotion has happened before, but this time is heavily driven by the marketers and the companies looking to profit. So how do we see through the hype? So we can start by asking 2 simple questions. First, is this actually AI? An audit of European AI startups found that 40% won't use any meaningful AI in their products. Many are just no-take tools in a fancy wrapper, what's called the AI theater. Second, what can it actually do? There is a huge gap between marketing claims and reality. We focus on the exciting potential and forgot to check the underwhelming performance. Some experts even suggest we should stop using the term AI altogether. It's too vague and too glamorous. Instead, we should use precise, boring terms like automated decision systems. This stops us from imagining sci-fi and forces us to see the limited real-world technology. Our goal shouldn't be to dream about the future with robot teacher, right? It should be to understand the actual capabilities and limits of the tools that are here now. So, as one expert put it, sometimes the biggest ethical issue isn't a complex dilemma. It's that a consequential system was deployed and it just doesn't work. Then let's move beyond the hype to the second major concern, the absolute limits of AI. And first, we could conclude it into 3 limits. Firstly, it cannot quantify everything. Second, it doesn't understand. Third, it cannot make ethical judgments. I often talk about AI with a sense of enchanted determinism, the belief that it's both magical and superhuman, too complex to understand but reliable enough to make life-changing decisions. This is dangerous. We need to see AI for what it truly is, a bounded mathematical system. It can only work with data. So the fundamental question is, what in education can actually be quantified? The truth is, much of learning is deeply human and social, As Neil argues, there are not enough data points in the world to adequately capture the complexity of who a student is or how a school functions. A famous and interesting study proved this. The chosen teams were given 30,000 data points on thousands of families to predict their children's future grades. They all failed. The conclusion was blunt. AI cannot predict how a children's life will turn out even with a ton of data. The second big limit is stimulating human intelligence. AI can mimic narrow tasks, but it cannot understand. It has no embodied experience, no emotions, no true common sense. It can fabricate the appearance of human behavior, but it is not sentient. It doesn't know what it's seeing. This means AI is incapable of real judgment, empathy, or ethical reasoning. It cannot appreciate art, understand complex social cues, or grasp the true depth of human emotion. This isn't to say human decisions are perfect. They are not. But as legal scholar argues, we don't have to choose between biased AI or biased humans. The goal isn't to replace flawed humans with flawless machines, but to recognize that AI is a limited tool. We must reset our expectations and focus on what it can actually do, not what we wish it could do. The most urgent issue, the real social harms caused by AI in education. This isn't about future risks. This is about documented damage happening now, where AI systems systematically disadvantage and oppress minoritized groups. So let's look at some detailed examples. Firstly, an automated proctoring system flags students with a non-native accent as suspicious for cheating. Second, a predictive grading algorithm knows the score for a student because their profile doesn't match historical high achievers. Third, facial recognition software fails to recognize a student of color at the school gate. The harm isn't always in big breakdowns. It's in the banal everyday glitches that exclude people, like systems that force non-binary students to misidentify themselves just to use basic software. These technologies are built on a logic of monitoring, sorting, and standardizing. They often presume a typical able-bodied neurotypical student, or creating what researchers call disaphantized features that make a technology unusable for some. Some say the solution is ethical AI or AI for good, but scholars like Abel Burhin warn that this talk can be dishonest way to silence complex discussions about racism or ableism. The truth is, AI doesn't create inequality out of the thin air. It automates and amplifies the biases already baked into our societies or in our historical data. Okay, so let's come to the fourth controversy, the hidden ideologies of AI. We often think of AI as a neutral tool, but the fourth key concern is that AI is never neutral. It is loaded with the values, ideologies, and business models of the people who build and sell it. So this article points to three competing worldviews shaping AI in education. So firstly, the technicist perspective. Driven by software developers, their core values are technical performance, efficiency, and scalability. They often see social problems and technical puzzles to be solved with better code, not better understanding. Second, the cooperative perspective. Driven by big tech, their logic is about scale, control, and market dominance. They see students and users in their digital ecosystem, education and the service to be sold, and the schools and the market to be captured. Third, the educational perspective. This view pushes back. It argues that teaching is an art and deeply human relational craft. As expert Chris puts it, good teaching is a combination of art and skill and experience. No amount of data capture is going to be able to reproduce that. So, the next time when you hear about an AI tool for education, we could ask, whose values is it built on? Is it designed to maximize human connection or to maximize efficiency or profit? This isn't a technical decision, it's a political one about what we value in education. The staggering environmental cost of AI. AI has a massive carbon footprint. So could you please think that is it ecologically sustainable? Actually, it shows that training and running advanced AI models consumes a colossal amount of energy. The energy needed for cutting-edge AI can be unbelievable. One model's training can emit as much carbon as a city does in a month. This is an unsustainable drain on our planet's resources. It isn't just about the electricity to run your laptop. It's about the giant data centers that power the AI in the cloud. Every automated grade, every adaptive learning suggestion has a hidden carbon footprint. Some hope for green AI solutions, but others argue we need to ask a much harder question. That is this entire project even compatible with a habitable planet? Do we need to learn to live without these incredibly resource-heavy technologies? So enthusiasm for more AI education has to reckon with this simple fact. It is contributing to the climate crisis. We cannot talk about the future of education without talking about the future of the planet. Therefore, here comes the conclusion. AI in education is not a neutral take, it's a political project. And the 5 controversies mentioned above are all connected with each other. That are, the hype obscures the limits of AI, and those limits lead to real social harms, and those harms are shaped by hidden ideologies, and the entire enterprise has a devastating environmental cost. So this means our goal shouldn't be to uncritically implement AI. Our goal must be to ask tough questions before we use specific AI. So that is what is being done in the name of AI, to whom and who benefits, who gets to decide the future of the education. The conversation is dominated by the tech companies and the engineers. We need to diversify the voices in the room, and we need to hear from the teachers, the students, the communities, especially the marginalized ones most likely to be harmed. So this is the future starts here. So let's make sure it's an action that leads to more just, equitable, and sustainable future for everyone.